Brother, yes, you little beast, how you doing? So, today we're going to be talking about pot, grass, herb, Mary Jane, skunk, ganja, wacky backy, the devil's lettuce. Yes, you've guessed it. You probably knew anyway from the title, but this video is all about weed. If you're watching this, you're probably a degenerate like me who has some sort of weird pull towards weed. So for me, it all started when I was 18, and I'd never done it before. In fact, I'd never done anything like weed before. I'd gone to the park with my friends a few times and had a few drinks, but other than that, I'd never done anything. And weed, much like anything else similar, is something that nobody's doing until one of your friends tries it. And as soon as somebody in your friendship group tries it for the first time, then somebody else does, and then somebody else does, and before you know it, everybody's doing it. And it started pretty innocent. We had a few goes, and as I said before, I was a degenerate, and I fucking loved it. And it went from just trying it, seeing what it was all about, because other people at our school had tried it and we'd heard stories. It went from that to doing it more and more, and this must be the case for every weed smoker, right? But it you go from never having smoked it ever in your life to 6 months later, it's all you talk about. Every single day, I'd walk into where we used to sit in sixth form college, and we would talk about it. We talk about it all day long. Different elements, different people we watched on YouTube, content creators, weed content creators. Listen to yourself, brother. But that is what we did, right? And if we weren't talking about it, we'd be smoking it. And it went from, in the space of a year, it went from never tried it to doing it all the time with my friends, to eventually it got to the point where I felt like I just wanted to keep doing it more and more. I found it so fun, right? I loved it, as I've just said. So I started doing it at home. And lucky for me at the time, my family home is set up in a way where my bedroom is on the top floor of our house and my parents' bedroom is downstairs. And in my bedroom, I have one of those skylight windows, right? The windows that are in the sort of roof, in the ceiling. So you open them, and it was above my bed. So I'd open it up, I'd put it on the latch, I'd stand on my bed, and when my parents went to sleep, I'd stick my head out the window and have a fat doobie. And it got to the point where me and my friends even bought one of those dry herb vaporizers, where you just put weed in the top, and it's like there's no smoke, it doesn't smell, so you can just do it at any time. It kind of took over, right? And then when I turned 18, I started when I was 16. I said 18, but it was actually when I was 16, 17, 18. And then when I was 18, I went to uni, and it went from something that I had to hide, keep under wraps in case my parents found out, to I could just do it. There was nothing holding me back. I could do it whenever I wanted, however long for I wanted. I could spend as much money on it that I wanted, and it just took over my life. It got to the point where I was so reliant on it, I couldn't sleep without it. I couldn't imagine going a day without it. It completely took over. And yeah, it's not good for you. I mean, anything that has that sort of pull over your life isn't good for you, but weed specifically isn't good for you for a bunch of different reasons. The first one being laziness, right? I didn't realize at the time, and just like a lot of other people who smoke it, who also don't realize at the time, but it makes you so lazy. Any sort of uni work I had to do, I couldn't be asked to do it, or any even little tasks, like say I sold something, sold a t-shirt on Vinted. I couldn't be asked to go and post it because it felt like too much effort. I couldn't be bothered to tidy my room because it felt like too much effort. And all of this just has a huge effect. It's like a snowball effect on your mental health, because you can't be asked to even go in the shower and do little things that, like, come on, you need to go in the shower, bro. You need to go and brush your teeth. Why are you not doing that? Oh, wait, it's because weed's making you lazy. And you say this to other people who smoke, right? And people who are too blind to the issues that smoking arises within them. And they will argue with you that, no, it doesn't affect me like that. That must just be you, which is something I disagree with. I think it makes 99% of people who smoke it lazy. Something they'll often come back with is, look at Joe Rogan. He smokes it and he's a millionaire. But let's flip that on its head, right? Joe Rogan is a millionaire, and he has two aspects of his job that make him money, right? He has to commentate on the UFC fights, and he has to talk to people on this podcast. Any other task that might take a little bit of brain power, he can pay somebody else to do it because he's a millionaire. Furthermore, the reason that weed affects people is the compounds of it. The HTC compounds take so long to exit your bloodstream. But he is so health maxed. He spends so much money on maximizing his health, his bloods, all that kind of thing. That, do you not think he'd have thought about that, and he'd have done things to counteract those feelings that normal people can't afford to do? Think of 3 high function celebrities, that are high functioning on it, right? So I can think of Joe Rogan, I can think of Snoop Dogg, and I can think of Wiz Khalifa. I can't think of anybody else, celebrity or normal person, who is high functioning smoker apart from them 3. And surprise, surprise, they're all millionaires who either have easy jobs or can afford to counteract the negative side effects of weed with the money they've got that normal people don't have. So that's number 1. Number 2 is that it massively affects your short-term memory. Now, this is something that a lot of people suffer with at the time, but once all the compounds of weed are out of their bloodstream, which usually takes between 1 to 3 months, it's not something they deal with anymore. It's not something that affects them anymore, I should say. But for me, it still affects me to this day. I haven't smoked in 3 years, and my short-term memory is still fried, bro. It's fried. And I can't see a world where it comes back, but I'm sat here fingers crossed. But that's another thing why you shouldn't smoke it. Another reason is that it makes you content with your current situation. So for the fact that you're sat here now watching this video, this self-improvement video on a self-improvement YouTube channel, you probably aren't content with your current situation. Not that you're negative, so that your current situation is necessarily bad or negative, just that you aren't content with it. It's not where you want to finish in life. You might be on the path to bigger and better things than where you're at right now, and that's great. But weed makes you content with your current situation. One analogy I like to use is, think of a pack of microwave rice, right? Just a pack of microwave rice. You put it in the microwave for 2 minutes, you cook it and you eat it, no sauce. Would you be content with that right now? Because if you'd smoked, you would eat a lot and you'd love every second of that rice as if it was the best thing on planet Earth. And that's just an analogy, but you can stretch that and think about it for everything. You could be shot. Well, you could be shot, but I was going to say you could be sat in a dingy, horrible little dark bedroom that stinks and it's messy. If you smoke, you're loving that. You're loving being in there. You're having a great time. And you can use that line of thinking for anything, and it makes you think, wow, it kills all ambition. Something else is that I said before, you become reliant on it for your sleep and that kind of thing, but it's not good for sleep. You don't get good sleep on it. I'm not sure if you've got to the point where you've smoked it every night before you go to bed, like I was, but you don't sleep properly on it, and you wake up feeling groggy if you do that, because it stops you from entering the REM stages of sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, which is where you get your truly deep sleep, and it's where you recover. So if you go to the gym, for example, or you have hard days at work and then you smoke, you can't recover from that properly because you don't enter the necessary sleep stages, which is why you're always feeling groggy if you smoke it. And another one more that I've just thought of on the fly is that it's so expensive. You're spending £30-40 a month at least, if not a week. And for you watching in America, that's like $50-60 a week or month on it, just to have this habit that's so pointless. It doesn't do anything for you other than piss time away and makes you content with nothing really. So all this came to a head 2-3 years ago when I quit. But how did I quit? Well, like any bad habit, you need to have a genuine desire to stop. You can, but it's so hard to stop doing something if you don't actually want to, if you don't have that internalized desire to want to quit. So if you don't have that desire to quit, I did, luckily, but if you don't, then you need to sit and think about, what does this actually do for you? If you keep going the way you're going with it, where will you be? You need to build, and the way I word it is, you need to build an agenda against it. You need to sit and think about the negatives of it versus the positives. What benefits do you actually get from doing this thing? Whereas the negatives, they massively outweigh it, because you're spending all your money, you're affecting your mental health, it's making you lazy, it's killing your ambition, it's killing your short-term memory, which is physical, and you won't ever get that back if it's killed. And think about all those things and build an agenda against it, right? And then you need to identify your triggers and eliminate them. So think, when you get this desire to smoke, are you watching a specific YouTube creator? Are you hanging around with certain friends? Are you going to certain places? And then eliminate those triggers. If it's certain friends who love to smoke, stop hanging around with those people. If it's certain content creators, stop watching them. If it's certain foods you eat that you now associate with that, stop eating those foods. Eliminate those triggers and do it now, whilst all of this video, the content of the video, as well as the genuine desire you have to stop, whilst it's all still fresh on your mind, take action now. Bin all your stuff if you need to. Get rid of it. Get out of the house. Put it all in the bin. Get rid. And do it now, whilst the motivation to do so is there. If after all this you're still struggling to quit, then you probably are struggling with one of two things, maybe both. First, you need to have a mindset / perspective shift on it. Currently, you probably see yourself as someone who smokes it. And for as long as you see yourself in that way, you will continue to smoke it. You need to start talking about yourself and seeing yourself as, I'm not a weed smoker. That's not me. And you need to internalize that. You need to internalize the fact that that's not the person you are. And you'll stop doing it. If you're still struggling, then you probably have some sort of trauma you need to heal from, that you are subconsciously using weed to escape from. And that also translates to all other bad habits. So if you're addicted to porn and fapping, or you're addicted to junk food or alcohol, then the same goes for any of those. You probably have some trauma you need to address, and you need to heal from. But yeah, that's it, bro. As I said before, if you're degenerate like me, who has some sort of pull towards weed, whether it's positive or negative, maybe you fucking love it like I used to, you might be curious about it and want to try it, or this might be a generational hate watch for you. But either way, whichever one of those you are, I want this video to be a turning point. I want this to be a new chapter, and from this point on, whether you've smoked it before or not, I want you to never smoke it again, because it is killing so many people indirectly, in ways that they aren't even realised. So yeah, you need to stop doing it before it takes over your life, bro. I hope this video helped. Thanks so much for watching. It means a lot that you're still here. If you're still here, you're a real G. But you probably were anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching, bro. I love you lots. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.